because you get used to like how things are during COVID. Kind of a lot more laid back during COVID. And now you're back to very rigorous coursework that's in person. You have to be there. You have to pay attention at all times. Like, if you're dozing off, the teacher's gonna know, or your professor's gonna know. Can't do that behind a camera. Um, but yeah, no, it was definitely a shock, especially with COVID.
It's interesting you bring that up. And it's something that's come up in several of our interviews. And COVID stuff's kind of like a PTSD. Like you're like, oh, we're past it. Now I hear all this stuff about COVID. I'm like, oh no, not COVID again.
Yeah.
Because you remember it, and it was so isolating, and the depression's so real. And then I can only imagine the anxiety then returning back in person. And for someone like yourself who's so very social, I can't even imagine what COVID would have been like. Just hard
Yeah,
stuff.
I definitely just like did not know what I was doing. I was literally just like, I literally sat in my apartment all the time and did puzzles. I was like, I have no friends here.
But you got your puzzle.
I know, I have my puzzle. I ended up adopting a cat during that time, so we're doing great.
There you go. That'll do it. Uh, all right. So what are you doing now?
So, fun thing, you know how I said I went to Clemson for wildlife.
Yep.
I'm not doing wildlife. I ended up, while I was in college, I started working in student house, like off-campus student housing. Found out I was really good at it. Um, I worked throughout college. My senior year, did the same exact thing that I did my senior year of high school and ended up picking up a full-time job. But because I did that, um, within 4 months of me getting promoted to that full-time position, I interviewed for a management position, um, and got that within 4 months of getting a prior promotion. So I'm in Maryland. I say I'm in DC because I'm literally a mile away. Um, but I'm in the DMV area. I am a leasing manager. So working with college students still, really.
Fun times. Yeah, and that comes up too a lot in these interviews. Of, yeah, I did all the stuff for school, and I'm not doing anything with it at
Yep.
all. And that's perfectly fine. And I love having that conversation because it's so valuable. Like you think you have a plan, it'll change. Stuff happens, life happens, and
Yeah.
you adjust. And next thing you know, you're living in Maryland and saying you're living in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
I would do the same thing. All right, so two questions to finish this out today. I'll give you both questions. You can decide how you want to answer. Question number one. On Friday this week, our incoming freshman class gets their acceptance letters for the class of, you'll love this, for the class of 2029.
Okay. 2029. Lovely.
2029, right. Um, what advice do you give that eighth grader who's kind of on the fence about this? Like they've gotten in, they've applied, they've gotten in. They don't want to leave their friends behind. They're concerned it might be too hard. What advice do you give that middle schooler? Question number two. In about 6 weeks or so, our seniors will be finishing up their finals. Finals at Tech this year are in April. Super early.
Yeah.
What advice do you give the senior who's, I don't know what I want to do? You've rushed me into making all these decisions. I don't know. What advice do you give that senior?
Yeah. So for the incoming, the incoming freshmen, the eighth graders that are getting their acceptance letter, just if you've already applied, You knew deep down that you wanted to do this. Even if your parent was the one that made you apply, deep down you still followed through with that application. Now you just got to follow through with the program. Just do it. Like, there's nothing that you're going to lose from this. You can still talk to your friends at your base school. You'll make new friends from people all over the county at early college. You'll meet people that you never thought you would meet. Um, you'll you'll start being prepared. You may even get your associate's degree for free. Oh my gosh, it's credible. I have a whole degree free. You can't always say that. Um, it's a great program. And I understand like being scared, being out of your comfort zone is definitely super real, but you're you're not gonna regret it. You're gonna feel like you regret it at some points throughout your time, but you won't. When you graduate, you'll look around with your other 80 to 100 people and you'll be like, I know exactly who each of these people are, where they come from, their backgrounds, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, love that.
For the people who are, for our lovely seniors who are graduating soon, it is a-okay not to know what you're gonna do. Take it from me. I did not know what I wanted to do in high school, nor throughout college. And when I figured out what I wanted to do in college, I was already a senior graduating. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm getting this degree no matter what. And even if you have a degree in something that like you figured out, like even like a year into working, that like, hey, this just isn't for me, or I have another opportunity that's not in my field that I've been studying for, that's okay too. Like, you do not need to have your entire life figured out. I'm still learning that. There's so many like what ifs that you just won't be able to control.
I'm still learning it too, Jocelyn.
Yeah,
Still learning it too.
it's hard.
It is, but it's also what makes it fun. It gives life
Yeah.
variety, takes you down different paths you never thought you'd be on.
Yeah.
Good advice, Jocelyn Tardino, class of 2019. Hang on the line 1 second after I record and make sure we're good. But it is so good to see you up there in the DC area, uh, taking care of the leasing at your office. Good to see you.
Yep.
We'll catch up again soon.
Yes, of course.